Okay, welcome back to Ka Iking Live. I'm still your host, Ka Iking, and our guest is still Daisy Brett Holt. We are talking about the jury movement, advocacy to have a jury movement in the Philippines. When we took a break, Daisy, we talked about the difference between a barrister and a solicitor, and you said you define what a solicitor is. What is a barrister?
The barristers represent people accused in the courts.
Okay.
But a
These
barrister,
are like the trial lawyers already.
yes, they are the
All
trial
right.
lawyers, but they can also hold office, say in the civil service. Yes, and they help the government to decide on, or they advise the government to decide on cases. Let's say someone in, it could be, let's say, health and safety. And there was an accident. So the barristers, who usually are the heads of this health and safety department of the government, they will help, they could decide on the case or help in the decision about
Okay.
the case.
So a barrister could also be a solicitor, or is it?
A solicitor, there is I think there are additional qualifications.
Requirements, but they can do both.
They can, but it will be difficult. They have to have more education.
Okay, how long has the UK been practicing or using the jury system?
Well, it was started in England, so it will be over 200 years.
Oh, nothing new, huh?
Nothing new.
Is it the only mode, or is there an alternative mode?
Are you meaning? Do you mean to say
Would there be a trial without a
arbitration?
jury?
Yes, for lesser crimes.
Oh, okay.
For lesser
Okay.
crimes. True jury trials are for serious crimes like
Okay.
plunder, which is a crime against the people. Fraud, like, the legacy case. That is a criminal.
Okay. And how are the jurors selected?
The jurors are selected by lottery.
Lottery.
After out of the, let's say, 50 million.
From, what do you call this?
From the registered voters. There are
Okay.
50 million, so they just pick by lottery. I've been in the UK for almost 30 years. I was
Have you been
never,
you-
never called.
Are you hoping?
I'm hoping to. But I have already sued someone in court, but it wasn't, it's just a small claims
And you
court.
have to be a British subject to be called to jury duty?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it doesn't mean, but I have a friend who's a nurse, and he's been in the UK for 10 years, and he was already called for jury trial.
Oh,
And I haven't been, so it's really
lottery.
lottery.
Sometimes you win.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't.
Yeah. And I have a sister who's been in the States for, say, 35 years. And
She's never been
she
called?
she was called only recently once, and she was so excited about it. And she
Okay.
said, really, this will work in the Philippines.
Oh, all right.
And an elder sister, about 40 years, she was also called just once.
Are they paid?
They are paid.
How are they paid? I mean,
I think it is, there are many ways of, some people said that if you are unemployed, you will be paid the minimum wage, unemployed. If you are employed, you'll be paid what you are paid,
the equivalent to your
the
pay.
equivalent to your pay.
And who will pay for that?
It could be the government, or
Or the
in
company?
most cases, it's the company, where they can, say, deduct it from your holiday pay. So you'll go on holiday, but you will be paid. But that will be considered your holiday. But remember, jury system is your service to your country, and you don't call every day or every month. You'll be called only.
Privilege,
it is a privilege, and if I'm called, I will.
So what happens? You stay in a hotel,
like
with
most
free food
most
and
likely, with you will be given
and security?
food. Yes, you will be, because they have to make sure that no one was able to influence your decision. So there is security.
Okay, and you're hoping to pass a referendum that will make it legal to do it here in the Philippines? I'm
sure if the Filipino people, through through the education, raising awareness of the people about the system, I'm sure they will agree. And if there are so many, the majority, there are only is poor or middle class and below. And how many rich people are there? How many lawyers are there?
Okay, let me just try to crunch some numbers. I think many of those in this country have been victims of injustice one way or the other.
Yeah.
Maybe it won't be too difficult to convince them.
It won't be too difficult. And as you have said, it might not be difficult to convince them. It's only convincing them and making them commit to the idea. And if we are patriotic, if we love our country, loving our country is not just saying, I love this country. You have to sacrifice. And if it's doing jury's service, the sacrifice that you have to do, it will be an honor. It's not.
Okay, you do have public attorneys in the UK, don't you?
Yes.
So, assuming that we adopt the jury system here in the Philippines, it could be practical to also have public attorneys because everything would be transparent.
Yes.
And public attorneys would have a better chance to win over the private lawyers, right?
I don't know how it is in the Philippines because I have the probably misinformation that private lawyers are those who pass the bars with the high.
Probably.
Is that true?
Probably, but you do have prosecutors also.
We have prosecutors. We have pro bono lawyers. In fact, some
pro bono lawyers are private barristers who give their time.
They give their time free.
Well, the court system here, the judge can also appoint pro bono lawyers.
Yes. So, what's the difference?
From the roles, no?
Yeah, what's the difference? We also have the legal aid. You have that here.
The bar associations do that, free legal aid.
Yes.
Yes.
So, we also have that. But
3
sometimes
days.
sometimes that is abuse.
I find it hard to imagine a case closed in 3 days.
You know the case that my sister sat as a juror? After 2 days, the accused just pleaded guilty. So it didn't even get to 3 days.
Have you made your own studies as to how much is the backlog of cases here in the Philippines?
I was told that it is really in the thousands.
Just thousands?
Oh, more than that?
I'm asking you. I'm the
No,
host.
I'm sure it is a lot. And I was told by our think tank is Marlo Camelo. He is
a lawyer in the
a
States?
lawyer in the States and and was also a practicing lawyer in the Philippines, practicing lawyer in the States. And if you know Vic Velasquez.
No, Marlo is in my mailing list.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. And he also agrees that, and he is a practicing trial juror in America, or he was. And he is convinced that the jury system is good for our country. Now, according to Marlowe, who made an extensive study, not just a year or two, he has been doing this since 1987. And he said that if we adopt the jury system, it will only take 3 to 4 years to decongest the system.
Why is it that it's only now, 2013 already, it's only now that there's a movement advocating it after more than 100 years of being a republic?
It's not only now. I think in the early, late 1990s, there was a group of professors, university lawyers, professors, students, who ran for a party list.
But Daisy,
they didn't win.
We've had how many? 2 constitutional, no, sorry, assemblies, assemblies in the past. Was this never taken up?
Marlo Camelo mentioned to me that he proposed this to Cory Aquino. But he was ignored. And he already done studies about it. So when you do an advocacy like this, you need money. Yeah? And in any advocacy, you need money.
Okay. There may not be a provision for it in the present constitution, but is there anything that disallows it?
There is nothing that disallows it. Actually, it was part of the Philippine Constitution was based on the American Constitution, which has a jury system until now. And when it was adopted in the Philippines, they decided that the elites then and our colonizers omitted the jury system.
Purposely?
And you can see, purposely, because at the time they said that we are not educated enough or politically sophisticated. But we already had, that was 1901, we already have University of the Philippines. UST, I mean. And how can they say that we are, so how can they say that we are not educated enough? And this is the time when we are sending doctors, professionals to developed countries with jury system. Can they still say that we are not ready for jury system?
So it might have been purposely omitted?
Definitely purposely omitted, because at the time, the Filipinos were uprising against the Americans.
What if there's a judge who would allow it?
If there is a judge, a single judge?
Yes. Or what if there is a benevolent Chief Justice who would all of a sudden allow it?
Will he be able to convince the other benevolent justices?
What if he would? Yes.
Why not? If he can?
I understand that there's one country that already tried out the jury system without a constitutional change.
You don't need a constitutional change.
Or a law, an enabling law.
No. The 67, the Republic Act 6735 is the enabling law for the 1987 Constitution to allow for this direct initiative.
PI, yes, of course.
Yes.
Yes,
so,
but the enabling law to allow a jury in a courtroom is not yet there.
It's not yet there. That's why we have to do this initiative. If there are judges,
if the Supreme Court will suddenly find it in good order,
yes,
to try
but
it out.
It's not just one one justice. It's not just the Chief Justice. It will be several of
Let's
them
say
who will.
it's the Chief Justice allowing one sala of the Supreme Court to try it.
If it's only one sala, and let's say the one who was accused or was found guilty, and he appeals.
What if the two parties agreed?
If the two parties agreed, yes.
In a way, the arbitration system is similar in the sense that if both parties
Yes.
would agree,
In lesser case or less serious cases, there are arbitration. Even in the UK, we have that. Say if it's less than £10,000.
okay.
Yeah.
Is that the small claims court?
It is a small claims court, and you will first be advised that you can avail of this arbitration. So you don't have to go to trial.
Could you call a jury to a small claims court?
No, no.
Too small.
It's too small. It's not serious enough.
What about a night court?
Where there is a single judge.
Cannot have a jury?
No.
So in night courts, you only have a single judge. So you actually have a dual
In the
system.
UK, actually, yes. In America, they have that. In the UK, we have magistrates.
What is that?
We have three. These are not law graduates. They are ordinary citizens who wants to serve. Because
What are they?
I can be a magistrate. You can be a magistrate. All you have to do, but then they are not paid.
And what do they do?
They sit in cases
And?
for cases that is up to worth 10,000 pounds penalty. So there are magistrates or like pickpockets or
We can have, we call them over here under bar. They took
they're
law
not. They
course.
don't have to have. They didn't have to have any law course.
degree. No law degree.
No, they don't have a degree. If you want to be a magistrate, you will be given these books. You'll be trained about it.
But they're
But
volunteers?
they're volunteers.
And they could handle small cases?
Yes.
What's in it for them? Public service?
Public service. Yes.
Do they have
In
an
fact,
oppor-
someone asked me if I would like to be.
But
I
they
said,
have a courtroom?
There is a courtroom. Yes.
Can they make money?
That's well, they're doing it voluntarily without pay. So how can they make money?
Purely public service then.
Purely public service. But UK is we've had this sense of fairness and justice ingrained.
Okay.
I'm not saying.
You know, Daisy, before the campaign for a People's Initiative, maybe you spend some time educating.
Yes.
Are you planning to include this in the curriculum?
Yes. In fact, if we can get a funding, what we plan is to produce a book. And I have already asked someone who has written books. And these books will be given to high school students. It will be part of the curriculum. In the UK, it's part of the curriculum.
Because it's part of the law.
Yeah, it's part of the law.
Over
So
here,
if it becomes part of the law, it will be in the curriculum. Where can you? It's mind-boggling to think that I graduated in the Philippines. I've lived here for so many years until I was 33, and I didn't know about law. It's just the very basic. We knew it, but not much. In the UK, you're a high school student. You have to know.
I wrote an article. I might have sent it to you about participatory democracy.
Yes.
Do you think the jury system is participatory democracy?
Jury system is participatory democracy because it's the people who participates in the administration of justice. So, and it's not just justice, the everyday justice, it's also the justice for all. Even,
Okay. We've run out of time.
oh,
We have about a minute left. That's your camera over there. Why don't you make a pitch to everybody? Try to convince them.
my fellow Filipinos, we appeal to you to support our campaign for the adoption of the jury system through a national jury law. This is the only way we can uplift our country, eliminate or maybe minimize corruption in the country. And if we have less corrupt leaders, we will have a richer country. President Aquino said, kung walang corrupt, walang mahirap. And I say, paano kung ang gobyerno ang corrupt? Lahat tayo maghihirap. Thank you.
Thank you, Daisy. I would rather say remove corruption rather than minimize.
Corruption is everywhere, even in countries with jury system.
Okay.
That is human nature. But you can minimize and you can easily stop it. You nip it in the bud.
Okay. Thank you for coming, Daisy. I wish
My
you luck.
pleasure.
And whenever there's a chance to bring you back here, just let me know.
Thank you very
Good
much.
night. Take it away, baby.